as well as Eventbrite.
Okay. I'll leave this part in because I just hit record. I'll say, welcome to Plugged In Chatham-Kent, your business podcast. I'm Andrew, working in economic development, and I am sitting with, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Debbi Sluys.
Wonderful, from so many different businesses. Let's start with, I don't know, you pick one because it's your business.
Okay, well, the one that I own is called Dare to Declare.
Yes.
And it's Chatham-Kent based, and I have a local studio here, and Andrew's been there, and it's lovely, and I host workshops there. And then I also do public speaking, and I do workshops around the province and beyond. So that is my private company, and then I'm also a director of a local childcare organization in Blenheim based, as well as one in Chatham.
Yeah, because you have all of that free time out there, just to do that. I'm just checking your website to see events. We'll just confirm. Oh, look, I pop up and I can download things. Oh, yeah, all kinds of events on there. November 14th. Okay, what's the November 14th event?
So November 14th, I just started a women's networking group, actually in the St. Thomas area.
Oh, great.
So it's called Dare to Share.
Okay.
And the premise is that a woman shares her vulnerable story and her story of triumph, and women come and hold space for her to do so. So there is a chapter here already in Chatham called Tribe Amplify.
Yes.
Her name is Jessica Burrell. She runs it, and I took her course this summer, and now I'm offering a similar format in the St. Thomas area. And it's at a wildflower farm, and we've had one in September, and now the next one's in November, and I'm really excited about it. And just the space itself is so conducive to feeling safe and feeling inspired because it's wildflower farm. It's just beautiful. She has like a little bar area where she serves botanical drink, alcoholic drink, and wine, and it's just a lovely evening. So that's on my website under Dare to Share. It's a monthly event. It happens second Thursday of every month.
Wow. This is one of the reasons I want to get you on the podcast is because you're out there and inspiring so many people. So I'm going to give you kudos for that because you're doing a phenomenal job on that.
Thank you.
You started before I hit record telling me about all the things you've been doing. So do you want to run through the list of places you've been and all the different events and pretend that you didn't tell me and I don't know anything about it?
Okay. So most recently I was privileged to be part of a women's conference called Amplify Your Impact, and it was at Caesars Windsor. It was a week ago on Saturday, or Friday, sorry, and I was part of a group of 6 women. 4 of them were from all over the states, coaches, personal coaches, really influential women, and then another Canadian woman and myself, and we were part of this Power Pack Day, so I felt really privileged to be part of that. And of course, when you surround yourself with people that are like-minded and who are interested in self-development, more things come of that, and so things are rolling out from that.
What were you talking about? What were you presenting?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so my piece was vision. So my company, Dare to Declare, I do vision board workshops. And so it was focusing on the very first part of what do you want? What's your vision for your life? And just about taking that pause, being intentional around living. And what do you see for your future? And just dreaming really big, just like we did as kids, where kids didn't worry about the hows, right? Like, how is that going to happen? Or like, how am I going to find enough time? How am I going to find enough money? Who's going to help me? No, they just are like, I want to be, I want to go to the moon, or I want to be a teacher, or I want to be, right? They just dream out loud and dream big. So it's about getting back to that intuitive voice and listening to that and getting really clear on what you want. So that's what I supported during that. Yeah.
And I have heard from several people how awesome your vision board sessions are.
Thank you.
About how great that works. I know my wife did one, and she loved it. And that was even before we met. It was just she was in bragging about it. And it's still at home by her desk area. So,
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's still there. So, and occasionally she looks over, and then I say, "So how's that piece going?" And she gives me funny looks. Anyway,
you're her accountability partner.
I am totally holding her accountable.
And that's the truth. And that's the thing is that I always promote that is that it's one thing to do the vision board and say it out loud and get clear, but then the real magic happens when you get home, and it's about paying attention to it. So it's like a puppy. You need to pay attention,
Absolutely.
Right? So you need to have that focused, intentional time with your vision board, because what that creates is the energy. And the energy is what creates the law of attraction, which will bring those things into your life. So if you just tuck it in the closet, throw it in your bed, it may work, but the magic is when you are actually focused on it and on a regular basis. So I encourage people to put it on their phone as their screensaver, on your desktop, wherever you can. Some people have laminated it mini and put it in their planner, just so it's visibly there on a regular basis. Yeah.
We talk about that especially in the small business department, but with all businesses, write down, put it down somewhere so it's not just in your head, and then format it however you need to format it for you. But don't just stick it in a drawer.
No.
Don't hide it away. If you've got a plan, you've got your ideas down, because then they're real, right?
And actually, there's a science behind it, and someone has done a study on this, that when you write down your goals, they're 42% more likely to manifest. Wow. So when you actually write them down versus just leaving them out as a dream, and when you share them, so declaring it, they're 78% more likely to manifest. So it's just because it creates that energy, but also the people around you are hearing it. So if I were to share with you what I want to do, you probably have, I know you have this whole network of contacts, right? So you're inviting those resources, you're inviting that, but you yourself and your subconscious is also hearing it, which will then see opportunities for that to manifest as well.
That's awesome. So that was your first event.
Yeah.
Then what else did you do?
So I've also been doing public speaking still with my early years. So I am a full-time childcare director. I work 4 days a week for Growing Together here in Chatham. And so I have a crossover where my early years colleagues contact me and they're like, Deb, you're one of us, but you're speaking a new language, right? Around self-awareness. So it's not just professional development, it's personal development, which is something new. Well, it's not new, but it's new for our industry. It tends to be more around the children and their care, but not so much about the educator, him or herself. So this is something that's unique, and I know that a lot of my colleagues and directors of childcare centers are wanting to focus more on the wellness aspect for their employees. So so my voice is familiar because I know the challenges and the barriers they have in early years, but then I can speak to the wellness aspect and the new knowledge that I've gained in this last little bit. So I was in Bracebridge on Monday delivering a workshop called The Image of the Family, which actually, even though it talks about the family, it's more about the image of the educator, her or himself, and some of the biases that we bring forward and how we project that onto the family. And so I did that. And then on last Thursday, I was in Windsor and I delivered a keynote address to about 250 educators and it was called Life Work Blend. So I also do a workshop where I talk about, it's not life work balance where you're trying to avoid work and get more life, right? But to truly find joy and that sense of achievement and accomplishment, it's about blending them. So how can you do that and that be fluid and you find joy and in the small things, right? And to have that sense of and that mindset of gratitude within your work as well. And that's where the joy, so that you're not just waiting for the weekend or as soon as I retire or as soon as I pay off my mortgage or as soon as I pay off my car, I'm going to be happy, but about being joyful, deeper seated joy, pride now.
Yeah.
In the present. So that's my keynote address. So I did that on Thursday. And then Saturday I had a workshop at my studio. I know, it's a packed week, but that's the way it seems to be going. And in between all of that, we're opening a new childcare here. We're renovating beside Tecumseh School at Maycourt. So we're expanding spaces. And so, but when you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like busy. It feels like work and it feels good. Yeah, so I'm loving what I'm doing.
Energized.
I am energized. Thank you.
Absolutely energized. Yeah. You can see it because. But so do you go home at the end of it and just crash, or do you just keep going, or?
I do take time for myself. I preach the self-care, so I do take care of myself. I'm very conscientious of my sleep time. So I'm very. I set boundaries in that I'm in bed by 10 o'clock and I'm down for the count. So I'm not a night owl. I need to get my full 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And so, yes, I do crash at that point. But when I'm up, when I'm awake, I'm on. Yeah. But I love it. So before I even head to my other full-time job, I'm making contacts, I'm connecting with people, I'm following up on emails. This morning I was looking into a conference in Santa Monica to see. I know it looks very, so, checking out flights and I had contact with a lady from Holland who wants to do vision boards. So it's just, yeah,
That's amazing.
with the use of social media, it's international. And what I'm doing appeals to so many people.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the worker, the childcare professional side of things, and you said sort of that personal development, is the inspiration to sort of help curtail it? Because I've heard in the past, in my previous life in healthcare, you get so invested in some of these families and some of the challenges that are going on that sort of you have that burnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that to help address or help a person build the skills to address burnout, or what's the goal? What was the goal of what you're working on with them? Or maybe am I just throwing an idea out there that is totally off base?
No. And in fact, one of the reasons I wanted to focus on the vision boards was because I felt that in my role as a director, I couldn't go deep enough. And what I was seeing was more anxiety, depression, and just overall unhappiness. And people not having this sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the vision board workshops, I feel that addresses that. It gives people that sense of, what do I really want?
Yeah.
Right? So yes, my career is part of that, but I also want to focus on what else do I want to learn? What's my educational goals, right? It might be, I want to learn to play the piano. I want to learn photography. I want to learn to garden. And so sometimes we just don't even pause to think about some of those things, right?
Yeah, that is.
And then develop an action plan to meet those goals, and that's what I support people with. Yeah,
That's fantastic. Yeah, there's nothing worse than sort of going home, sitting down in front of Netflix or whatever else, just recovering so you can just pick up the next day.
Exactly.
That's why I think it's really important what you're working on and the things you're delivering is that you're helping people realize, okay, let's take a pause and how do I have a little more out of life?
Exactly.
Not that I need the more sense of more stuff.
No.
It's more the personal aspect of it. So that seems very important. So
Yeah,
cool.
Something that I teach that is new for me. I loved how she put this. Her name is Danielle Laporte. She's from Windsor. She's one of Oprah's top 100 people.
Ooh.
I know, she's from Windsor. And this concept is that most people think that I need to have certain things, and then what do I need to do to have those things, and then I'll be happy, right? So have, do, and be. Actually, it's the other way around. It's about be. So who do I want to be? So if we focus on ourselves to be my best, show up my best self. What do I have to do to be that best version of myself? And then the have is going to show up. So it's the other way around. It's be, do, and have.
Wow. That's
Simple, but just a shift in mindset, right? It's about focusing on those things I was talking about, which is love and joy. I do an exercise in one of my workshops around what do you want? And what I challenge people to do is get in pairs, and with a 30-second interval, one person asks the question, what do you want? And the other person responds with a 1 or 2 word answer. And then this person doesn't show any kind of response. They just continue to ask the question, what do you want? And the person responds, what do you want? The person responds. What happens, I did this actually just at my conference at Caesars Windsor. Inevitably, there's needing Kleenex, because it brings up strong emotions. People don't realize that what they want are things like love and peace and freedom. And what they expect is they're going to say, I want a diamond ring. I want, the best shoes. I want a new house. No. When it gets down to about the third or fourth answer, it's those other things are coming up, and it's like, wow, where did that come from, right? Yeah. But again, those are the things that's the be, right? I want to be loved. I will love. I will be loving, right? And so they're more personal aspects versus things. That makes sense.
That's fair. Can we talk about, I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but you were talking about, when I last saw you, developing a course or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I remember things.
Thank you. Yeah, it's done.
It's done. How was that going? Because we were only in development phase at the time.
Yeah,
so.
Thank you. So it is amazing. It's on my website. It's an online course, so it takes you through all the stages of developing a vision board. It's in chapters and lessons, so people can stop and start. So yeah, they can purchase right on my website. I have 5 local women that are part of the class. So what makes it very interactive. So don't just feel like it's me talking to the person at home, but you have these other women, so you feel like you're part of this community. And then I actually have a starter kit as well that people can purchase if they want to get, if they're thinking, where do I get these supplies? Everything except for the foam core board and the images, which they can actually access through my Pinterest. It's all there. So it's a nice little package, and I've had people from all over purchase it, and I think it's really neat too for people in remote areas, or if accessibility is an issue, right, and they're more bound to their home. I also offered as a group. So I had a local childcare director purchase it for her team, and then so I was facilitating it essentially through my course, and she was guiding it with her team. But what an inexpensive way, really, to bring in a full professional development. So she did it with her team. She did it with her administrator first, and then she did it with her full employee component. So that was really cool.
That's a really good idea for businesses. Okay, if you've got a business you're listening, you should check that out. That's a really good way of bringing something in that may not cross the minds of a lot of business owners, because personal development is becoming a huge topic. Again, having had my healthcare background, it was very important as it was leading. I said those last 2 or 3 years, it was a very hot topic. So, what did I want to ask you about? So how did the person from Holland reach out to you? Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
Yeah, no.
But how did that happen?
So I'm also on Pinterest, and I pin things about vision boards, and I have a link back to my website because everything goes back to my website. And she found me
marketing.
Yes. So I've learned a lot in the last couple of years around marketing. So she found me on Pinterest, and then linked me back to my website, and then from there jumped to all my other platforms. And it's so neat, right? So I was actually sending her little messages through Messenger, and she's like, it's 11:45 p.m. here. This was last night, and I'm like, it's 5:45 here. Well, I'm just going for supper. And so it was really neat. And so she said she wants to be the Dutch expert on vision boards. And I said, well, let's connect. So cool.
The Dutch expert on vision boards. And then you'd have to take a trip out there. It'd be so difficult. Such a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you need help, like people to carry suitcases, I might know people.
Thanks.
But
I would absolutely love to do that. I actually have an invitation to go to England next fall, so we'll see about that. But a woman's hosting a yoga retreat. And she said, I would love to add vision boards to that. So that is my big goal for 2020. I'm actually putting on a retreat.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a partner. Her name is Darlene, and she helps me when I have the larger groups of vision boards. So in my studio, I can have about 12, but I've done it for up to 40, in different areas. So when I have really large groups, she helps me. But we're gonna do the retreat together. So we're still looking at areas. We're thinking Grand Bend, and do like a Friday afternoon till Saturday night. So I'm super excited about that in the spring.
That'd be good. Mm-hmm. And you'll have that on all your social media and
I will.
Website.
It'll be on my website,
which is debbisluys.com. Or is there another address to get there? You know what? I'm going to put it in the show notes. It'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah. It's dare2declare.com.
Okay. dare2declare.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I said that slow enough. Dare2declare.com.
Thank you.
It's like investck.ca for us. Okay. Is there anything else we should talk about?
Can I talk about... So I've just been privileged to meet so many amazing women. Like I said, I met these women at Caesars Windsor, but then I also have some local women. And as you say this, I got to meet you and your wife. There's just so many like-minded people in Chatham-Kent as well. And so 2 other women that I've recently, Wendy I've known for about 1.5 years, and then I just met Michelle Hetherington. And the 3 of us are going to be putting on a women's evening.
Oh, great.
So November the 7th, it's going to be at the Sons of Kent.
Yep.
Which is kind of a male feeling kind of environment, but I've spoke there before and it's really cool. And they're going to bring in wine actually. So there's the craft beer, but then they've got wine too. And we'll have food. And it's women empowering women. And what we're going to be speaking on is awaken, attract your abundance. So I'm going to start with the Awaken, which is the vision piece, similar to what I did with the Caesars Windsor, but just focusing on getting clear on your vision. Then Attract is really, Wendy's going to talk about that piece, which is, looking at your own self-image and how we see ourselves and how that can at times be a barrier. And so she's going to talk about that. And then the abundance piece, Michelle is a financial expert. And so she's going to talk about abundance and how to attract abundance into your life. So those three pieces are going to fit nicely together. And we're super excited about it. And we have limited tickets, but we're getting there. Ticket sales have been very brisk. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there's definitely a need. And like I said, there's a lot of like-minded women in this community that are eager to network, to meet other women.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to cultivate and keep those friendships, and I think it's just fun to have a girls' night out and something, and you're learning together, and you can be social and still network. It's fun.
Yeah. I've been working with a group for the Women's Leadership Network, and we've had the second session that was back end of last month. I didn't make
September.
it,
but yes.
The next one we're planning tentatively. I feel like I shouldn't throw a date out, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
We're looking into March. That's as much as I'll say. We're looking at March,
Yeah.
because there's been such positive feedback. There's feedback to have one every single month, and as much as the group would love to do that, it is quite a few volunteers that are on this.
Sure.
So we're trying to space it out a little bit. And then there's so many other amazing groups that are starting up, sort of aligned with it,
Right.
such as work you're doing, and that Angel is doing, and that Jess is doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I think that they all have a space, right? They all have an
For sure.
opportunity.
There's lots, and that's the thing with abundance. There's
Right.
enough room for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't see it as a competitive sort of space. It's a inclusive, and if they're all the same topics, well, it'll naturally sort itself out, but they're not all the same topics. It's different aspects and looking at things differently. So, I'm very excited about that development of that, because we want to inspire people. We want to inspire entrepreneurs. That's part of economic development.
Sure.
But we generally just want to help the community understand that there are some great options out there. There are some amazing people. There's mentors out there. There's so many things that people can take advantage of, and help each other. Nothing like helping each other. It's a nice way to be.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Great. Okay. Oh, is there anything else before I let you go?
I've got a couple public workshops set up for the new year, so people can check out my website.
Okay.
I've got those up. But most of my events have become private, so like corporations or women, they want to plan their own with their girlfriends, and they come and do that. So direct sales, definitely people see the benefits of this, but it's fun. And I mean, corporations understand that as well. If their employees are having fun and they're working on themselves, that only helps their business as well, and the team building. So I have different types of groups, but a lot of my events have become more like private events, but there are a couple of public ones on my website. So
That's awesome.
I'm excited. I'm excited for 2020. I also realized 2020, like 2020 vision, right? Clear vision. So I was like, hashtag 2020 vision.
It's so good. Because you've been in business, I should remember this because I wrote the article, but how many years has it been? Is it
in April, it will be 2 years that I opened the doors.
Okay. Yeah, so 1.5 years.
Yeah.
That's close.
Yeah.
So that's exciting because I remember calling it in the article that you've got a hidden gem of a space in Chatham-Kent, and we love to highlight those sort of hidden gems. Although I don't think you're hidden anymore. I think people are definitely recognizing that you're out there, which is good, which is great. But for those who don't know, I think more people should know. So,
Thank you.
Okay, well that wraps that up. daretodeclare.com.
Yes.
Okay, daretodeclare.com.
The number 2.
And number 2. Okay. Dare the number 2 declare. You know what? Google also works really well for people.
Yes, yeah.
I will put the link in the show notes. And investck.ca is our website. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure. I appreciate it.
As Anthony would say in our department, stay classy, Chatham-Kent.